Hello and welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host, Shivangi Mishra. Let's begin with the headlines first. Kashmir's tourism boom, paradise regains its splendor. Pashtun activists in Geneva highlight Pakistan's atrocities, call for global intervention. And locals protest IMF mandated cuts to family pensions in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Let's begin the show. Kashmir, often called heaven on earth, is one of the most stunning places globally, with its vivid mountains, lush forests, green pastures, and gushing rivers. From serene shikara rides on Dal Lake to the breathtaking valleys of Gulmarg, Kashmir's natural beauty captivates visitors from India and beyond. Recently, tourism in Kashmir Valley has been on the rise, providing a significant boost to the region's economy. Let's embark on a journey to the enchanting landscapes of Kashmir. Have a look.
Tall mountains, sparkling lakes, and shikaras gliding on the water define the Kashmir Valley, where every view reveals a story of natural beauty. Dal Lake, one of the world's most beautiful lakes, comes alive each morning with a vibrant floating vegetable and fruit market. The freshness, greenery, and lively chatter of shikara vendors offer a glimpse into Kashmir's unique life. While on a shikara ride, tourists can also savor kahwa, the traditional Kashmiri tea. This morning spectacle on Dal Lake attracts visitors from around the world. Visitors can shop for clothes, shawls, and local handicrafts at the floating market, offering a unique shopping experience.
Here in the lake, I'm with a photographic tour with other friends. It's a very quiet and beautiful place. I like it because most of all is a real place. So we can see the real life about people, how they live, beautiful color, the flower, the vegetable. It's a very nice market. I like it.
I'm very happy to be here in this amazing place, full of people, full of empathy, of energy. I like to photograph this kind of place. I love to photograph of, the flavor, the taste of the air, and I like fishermen also. And this market is very quiet place, very beautiful place.
Dal Lake is also home to the world's only floating post office, where letters and postcards can be sent. This unique post office has been a popular attraction for locals and tourists alike for many years.
And it is the only floating post office in the world. It was established around 1960 in that boat, and from that period it's functioning here. This is the normal postal functioning. Apart from that, it's a tourist attraction place also. Everyone from every corner of India and foreign also, they came here to see this post office. Well, it can float also, so it's unique in its own feature.
Dal Lake's houseboats are a symbol of Kashmiri culture, blending traditional architecture with modern comforts. Adorned with walnut carvings, they offer a serene retreat amid breathtaking landscapes. Srinagar is also home to Asia's largest tulip garden, which displays a vibrant array of tulips each year. Its stunning seasonal displays attract tourists from around the world.
सच्ची में स्वर्ग है. हमने बस YouTube में वीडियोस में देखा था, लेकिन मुझे लगता है यहाँ आके जब आप खुद एक्सपीरियंस करेंगे तो आपको लगेगा कि ये सच्ची में जन्नत है. और मैं तो इस जगह का नाम कश्मीर से जन्नत कर देना चाहिए. बहुत सुंदर टुलिप गार्डन है, बहुत अच्छा लगा.
Enclosed by towering pine and deodar trees, Gulmarg epitomizes breathtaking beauty. During the monsoon, gentle rains clog the valleys in lush green meadows that stretch endlessly. The natural splendor here feels like paradise, prompting every visitor to capture its magic with their cameras.
मैं पहली बार कश्मीर में आया हूँ, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, फैमिली के साथ आया हूँ, तो मैंने मिस कर रहा हूँ कि मैंने इतनी लाइफ में पहले क्यों नहीं आया इधर, क्योंकि सच्ची किसी ने कहा है कि ये धरती की जन्नत है, स्वर्ग है कश्मीर, और सब लोगों को यहाँ पे आना चाहिए, अपनी फैमिली के साथ, अपने दोस्तों रिश्तेदारों के साथ आना जरूर चाहिए.
It's amazing. I haven't seen such beautiful place before, ever, in any picture. So it's just wonderful. Everything you can see yourself. It's just like a picture. We are watching a movie in real.
The main attraction is the gondola ride, one of the highest and longest cable cars in the world. It offers a thrilling experience, with the mountain's beauty becoming even more vivid as you ascend. Reaching the mountain's peak via the cable car, the view is so captivating it feels as though you are embraced by nature. Tourists call this ride an unforgettable experience.
To Gulmarg was good. We saw a lot of the greenery and the pine trees. Those were good. And yeah, the horse ride till this cable car, that was also great.
So we've come here for a trip, and we knew it wasn't snowy, but we wanted to see the green part of Kashmir. And yeah, we liked the ride. It was all good. And the cable car was also a nice experience.
In winter, Gulmarg's beauty is heightened as snow blankets the tall mountains and trees. The entire area transforms into a stunning white wonderland, drawing tourists from afar for snowfall and adventure activities.
In a major protest outside the United Nations office in Geneva during the 57th session of the Human Rights Council, PTM Europe activists brought attention to human rights abuses in Pakistan. They spotlighted enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, arbitrary detentions and torture inflicted on the Pashtun community. The protesters chanted against the Pakistan army and condemned the crackdown on PTM leaders, including Manzoor Pashtun and Ali Wazir. Have a look.
In a major protest outside the UN office in Geneva during the 57th session of the Human Rights Council organized by the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement PTM Europe, activists highlighted ongoing human rights violations in Pakistan. They emphasized issues such as enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, arbitrary detentions and torture faced by the Pashtun community. The activists, who shouted slogans against the Pakistan army, particularly condemned the crackdown on Pashtun Tahaffuz movement leaders, including Manzoor Pashtun and Ali Wazir.
हमारा मेन मकसद ये है कि जो पाकिस्तान की फ़ौज और उनकी रियासत पश्तूनों, बलोचों, सिंधियों और कश्मीरियों के ख़िलाफ़ ये एट्रॉसिटीज़ कर रही हैं, उनको कंडेम करें. ये जो मंजूर पश्तीन और उसके 30 दोस्त हैं, एक्टिविस्ट हैं पीटीएम के, उन पे जो बैन लगाया हुआ है, बलोचिस्तान में दाखिले पर पाबंदी लगाई हुई है, उसके ख़िलाफ़ प्रोटेस्ट करें. अली वज़ीर को जो पकड़ा है उसके ख़िलाफ़ प्रोटेस्ट करें. इसके अलावा गिलामन वज़ीर का एक्स्ट्रा जुडिशल किलिंग हुआ है, उसका भी हम कंडेम करें. और इसके अलावा जो पश्तून ग्रैंड जरगा ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं उसकी सपोर्ट में, उसके साथ सॉलिडेरिटी शो करने में हम यहाँ दुनिया को बताएं और यूनाइटेड नेशंस को इन्फॉर्म करें कि पश्तून्स पाकिस्तान में खुश नहीं हैं. वो मतलब ये कि अपनी एक होलिस्टिक न्यू स्ट्रेटजी बनाना चाहते हैं ताकि किस तरह वो रहना चाहते हैं इस रीजन में. तो इस सिलसिले में सारी पश्तून कौम अक्रॉस द ट्राइबल लाइंस अपनी स्ट्रेटजी बनाएगी, अपना ओपिनियन क्रिएट करेगी और दुनिया को इन्फॉर्म करेगी कि हम क्या चाहते हैं.
Gilaman Wazir, a prominent Afghan Pashto poet and senior member of the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, was attacked in Islamabad in July, reportedly under the orders of the Pakistan government. The ban on prominent activist Manzoor Pashtun in Balochistan has also drawn significant criticism regarding Pakistan's handling of dissent and minority rights. Many argue that such bans reflect a broader strategy to suppress voices advocating for justice and accountability, particularly among marginalized communities. Other activists at the protest raised their voices against Pakistan's actions, highlighting the lack of respect for human rights and the oppressive treatment of marginalized communities. Mustafa Pashtun, another activist, expressed urgency about the difficult circumstances faced by the Pashtun community.
इधर हमने यूएन के सामने अपनी शिकायत दर्ज किया और दुनिया से हम यही डिमांड कर रहे हैं कि प्लीज़ इस वक्त पश्तून की बहुत बुरा हालात हैं, तो आप प्लीज़ उसके लिए हुकूक के लिए कम से कम आवाज़ उठा लो अपनी इंसानियत की नती की बुनियाद पे पश्तून की हेल्प करो। वो चाहे अमेरिकन होते या यूरोपियन या इंडियन या जो ममालिक होते, हम सब से यही रिक्वेस्ट करें कि प्लीज़ हमारा हेल्प करो।
Human rights activists have long accused the Pakistani government of targeting them through military operations and ethnic stereotyping. These issues often go unreported by local media, prompting activists to seek intervention on international platforms.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
Sri Lanka's new president Anura Kumara Dissanayake named Harini Amarasuriya, a college professor and first-time lawmaker, as the new Prime Minister of the Indian Ocean island nation. Amarasuriya was sworn in along with long-time party member Vijita Herath as Foreign Minister. An academic with a doctorate in social anthropology from the University of Edinburgh, Amarasuriya, 54, became a parliamentarian in 2020 under Dissanayake's NPP coalition and will also hold the portfolios of foreign affairs, education and media. Amarasuriya is the third woman Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, following the world's first woman Prime Minister Sirimavo Bandaranaike in 1960 and her daughter Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga in 1994. This was Sri Lanka's first election since its economy buckled in 2022 under a severe foreign exchange shortage, leaving it unable to pay for imports of essentials, including fuel, medicine and cooking gas. Protests forced then-President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to flee and later resign. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with leaders of Nepal, Kuwait and Palestine on the second day of his trip to the United States. PM Modi met Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, Crown Prince of Kuwait Sheikh Sabah Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah and Palestine President Mahmoud Abbas and discussed issues of mutual interest. Modi is in the US for a joint meeting of the United States, India, Japan and Australia, the Quad Leaders Summit. Iraqi mother of two children with autism, Shaima Ghassan, took it upon herself to learn how to best support her family and others in a similar position to hers. Having found a challenge in finding an appropriate and affordable center catering to the needs of her now 18-year-old daughter Aya and 13-year-old son Mohammed, Ghassan decided to educate herself. Watching YouTube videos and searching the web for resources, Ghassan eventually got international certification in the domain. She then opened a center to provide free of charge services for autistic children in a country where she says affordable non-profit rehabilitation centers are rare. The center offers rehabilitation services to children with autism to help them integrate into mainstream education. Ghassan also opened social media platforms where she posts educational content and the achievements of her children to change societal perceptions about autism.
Moving on, the Taliban seized power in August 2021 when US-led forces withdrew after 20 years of war. The UN has sought a unified global approach to dealing with the Taliban, who have cracked down on women's rights. Most girls have been barred from high school and women from universities by the Taliban. The group has closed beauty salons and curtailed travel for women without a male guardian. Recently, Hollywood actor Meryl Streep said at the United Nations, "A female cat has more freedom in Afghanistan than a woman does," as she urged world leaders to focus on the plight of Afghan women and girls.
The way that this culture, this society has been upended is a cautionary tale for the rest of the world.
Hollywood actor Meryl Streep, speaking at the United Nations, highlighted the plight of Afghan women and girls by stating that a female cat has more freedom in Afghanistan than a woman. The way that the society has been upended in a cautionary tale for the rest of the world, Streep told an event on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly to encourage the inclusion of women in the future of Afghanistan.
And today, in Kabul, a female cat has more freedoms than a woman. A cat may go sit on her front stoop and feel the sun on her face. She may chase a squirrel into the park. A squirrel has more rights than a girl in Afghanistan today because the public parks have been closed to women and girls by the Taliban. A bird may sing in Kabul, but a girl may not, and a woman may not in public. This is extraordinary. This is a suppression of the natural law. I feel that the international community as a whole, if they came together, could effect change in Afghanistan and stop the slow suffocation of an entire half the population who are incarcerated.
The Taliban seized power in August 2021 and US-led forces withdrew after 20 years of war. The UN has sought a unified global approach to dealing with the Taliban, who have cracked down on women's rights. Most girls have been barred from high school and women from universities by the Taliban. The group has closed beauty salons and curtailed travel for women without a male guardian. The Taliban say they respect rights in line with their interpretation of Islamic law. The group formally codified a long set of rules governing morality last month that were based on a decree by the Taliban Supreme Spiritual Leader in 2022 and will be enforced by the Morality Ministry.
Without educated women, without women in employment, including in leadership roles, and without recognizing the rights and freedoms of one half of its population, Afghanistan will never take its rightful place on the global stage.
The Taliban's unwillingness to engage with the international community has resulted in widespread and systematic human rights violations, particularly against women and marginalized groups. Their refusal to listen to global concerns and adhere to basic human rights standards has led to increased oppression within Afghanistan. This disregard for international norms has severe consequences for the Afghan population, who are already suffering from the impact of decades of conflict. Many people are cut off from access to essential services such as healthcare, education, and economic opportunities. The ongoing human rights abuses contribute to a climate of fear and uncertainty, leaving millions vulnerable and marginalized.
In Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, retired government employees gathered outside the Prime Minister's Secretariat in a protest organized by the Pensioners Association. They voiced their anger over the IMF-enforced ban on family pensions. The demonstrators urged the PoJK government to revoke the decision to cut off pensions for widows, highlighting the severe financial difficulties these families endure. They called for swift action to reinstate these benefits, stressing the crucial need to support vulnerable groups.
Retired government workers in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir staged a protest outside the Prime Minister's Secretariat, organized by the Pensioners Association. The demonstrators expressed their outrage over the IMF-mandated ban on family pensions. During the protest, pensioners called on the PoJK government to reverse the decision to terminate pensions for widowed women.
दो मुतालबे हमारे बड़े अहम हैं, जिसमें हमने ये कहा कि बेवा बेटी जो है उसकी पेंशन इन्होंने बंद की है। ये पेंशन इनकी बहाल होनी चाहिए। जब तक के पाकिस्तान में वो बहाल है उस वक्त तक ये बहाल रखनी चाहिए। और 200-250 केस है, ये सारा 200-250 केस है। ये गरीब ख्वातीन है। इस वक्त कोई ख्वातीन आई भी हुई है हमारे पास इस वक्त जो वहाँ पर मौजूद भी हैं इनमें से। दूसरे नंबर पर ये है कि हमने ये कहा था कि ये जो आपका 10% बकाया है यकम अप्रैल 2022 से लेकर 30 जून तक है, ये हमें ये 3 माह का बकाया दे दिया जाए। इसके लिए ये बुज़ुर्ग जो हैं इन्होंने मेहनत किया। तीसरी बात जो हमने ये कही है कि हमने कहा है कि यूनिवर्सिटी के जो मुलाजिमीन हैं इनका इजाफा किया जाए।
Protesters also asserted that pensioners in PoJK are being denied the recent pension increase announced by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. They also warned of possible repercussions if their demands are not met.
वो वक्त दूर नहीं, हमें बहुत कुछ नज़र आ रहा है। पाकिस्तान एक बड़ी मुश्किल हालात से गुजर रहा है। पाकिस्तान को टूटने से बचाओ खुदारा और मिली जगानत का मुजाहिरा करो और हमारे हकूक़ हमें दो। ऐसा ना हो कि कल कोई ऐसी गलती हो जाए जिससे बाद में हमें पछताना पड़े।
The pensioners' protest reflected their shared struggles in the face of economic challenges, particularly the impact of rising inflation and the loss of crucial financial support.
Now it's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We'll be back next week at the same time. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.